Europe just drew a line in the sand, and China's alliance with Russia is cracking like never before. After years of tolerating China's double game, the European Union has launched direct sanctions against Chinese banks and companies for their role in fueling the war in Ukraine. But what triggered this dramatic shift? And what does it reveal about the true relationship between Beijing and Moscow? It all began even before Russian troops crossed into Ukraine in 2022. Just weeks before the invasion, Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin sealed an unprecedented pact, a no-limits partnership. This wasn't just a handshake, it was a strategic promise, an unbreakable alliance between two global giants ready to challenge the West together. A partnership with no restrictions, no taboos, a bold declaration of shared ambitions. But this alliance turned out to be more than just posturing. When the West tightened sanctions designed to cripple Russia's economy, the expected knockout blow never came. Why? Because China stepped in. In 2023, bilateral trade surged to a staggering $240 billion, up 26% from the year before. China snapped up Russian oil and gas at bargain prices, providing a lifeline. It also supplied technology and industrial equipment that Russia could no longer buy anywhere else. This was no ordinary trade. It was a rescue mission keeping Russia's war machine alive. Yet behind the diplomatic curtain, Beijing was playing a subtle double game. Officially neutral, China unveiled a vague 12-point peace plan, which Brussels quickly dismissed. The plan didn't demand any serious ceasefire or troop withdrawal. Instead, it downplayed the war as a mere misunderstanding. A clever maneuver to appear as a mediator, all while protecting its crucial ally. Meanwhile, evidence piled up. Chinese companies have been supplying so-called dual-use components, semiconductors, drone parts, that directly power Russian military systems. What looked like ordinary cooling units were actually engines propelling destructive drones over Ukrainian soil. Each month, these drones devastate vital civilian infrastructure, prolonging a brutal war that could cost over $500 billion in reconstruction. This alliance, masked by neutrality, sparks a deep sense of injustice. Why does China cling to Moscow so tightly? Beyond comradeship, it's a calculated geopolitical and economic strategy. Russia's vast energy resources provide China with essential raw materials at cut-rate prices. In 2024 alone, China bought nearly $60 billion worth of Russian energy. This partnership also serves as a geopolitical weapon, strengthening Beijing's hand in global hotspots like Taiwan. But China's tactic is reaching its limits. The EU, exasperated by Beijing's duplicity, has gone further than ever. For the first time, it's targeting Chinese banks and firms complicit in the war, especially those linked to military technology. Two regional Chinese banks near the Russian border landed on a blacklist, accused of facilitating transactions that help Moscow evade Western sanctions. This marks a clear red line. China didn't stay silent. It fired back with accusations of meddling and overreach, demanding Brussels reverse its decision. But Europe stands firm, even as voices in France and Germany warn of economic fallout, mindful of the heavy costs involved. And those costs are already surfacing. China's retaliation began with cracking down on European brandy exports, costing French businesses millions. More worrying is the looming threat over rare earth metals, critical for European industries ranging from electric cars to wind turbines. Dependence on Chinese supplies is near total. Any renewed export restrictions like those in 2010 would severely cripple Europe's green ambitions. Luxury goods and pharmaceuticals are not safe either. China represents a massive market for high-end brands. Any slump due to tariffs or campaigns could trigger a sharp sales drop. The pharma industry relies heavily on Chinese active ingredients, and disruptions might lead to serious public health consequences. Caught in this multifaceted conflict, Europe is threading a delicate needle, sanctioning with resolve but avoiding a brutal rupture with China. It knows the economic ties run deep, and breaking them could backfire catastrophically. This situation is fracturing the global order. The West is scrambling to isolate Moscow with tighter controls, while China and Russia are building parallel financial systems, bypassing the dollar and slipping from Western control. It's the rise of an economic shadow army. Meanwhile, other nations play tightrope acts. India, Turkey, and many African countries balance between powerful blocs, negotiating their futures in a world where trust frays and alliances shift fast. As energy and trade turn into weapons and sanctions become power tools, the big question is, who will blink first in this high-stakes duel? And when these forces finally settle, what kind of world will emerge from the ashes? The battle lines are drawn, and the stakes have never been higher. But beneath the surface of this global chess game, the next moves remain shrouded in uncertainty. One thing is clear: we're watching history unfold, where every decision could reshape the future of international power.